Welcome to Live with Miami's Community News, South Florida's #1 source for local stories. I'm Michael Miller, bringing people together and sharing the voices, events, and connections that shape our community.
You did this morning, that event. Tell everybody about it.
What's next? What do we have to do?
Thank you for joining us. I'm here with Frank Calderon from the Solid Waste Department. Thank you for joining us, Frank.
Thanks for having me, Michael.
So here we are. We're halfway through August. The one or two storms have missed us, all right? So let's talk about what people should do with the hurricane season, then we're going to get on to illegal dumping.
Sure. Well, we're in the thick of it. We had one that was out there that people were a little bit scared to kind of look there, like it might come our way, but fortunately it's turning north, Aaron. But now is, perfect reminder, the broken record starts up again. Frank, the broken record starts again.
It seems like just like yesterday.
Seems like yesterday. The season's already in course or ongoing now. It's no longer the beginning of the season. Now, though, we don't have anything at the moment anyway headed our way. If you have that tree limb that's hanging over the carport or, your neighbor's yard or something like that is, or you're pretty sure is going to be a problem during a storm, now. Absolutely now. Do not wait. Now is the time to get rid of it and call for a bulky waste pickup, or you can even take it to one of the TRCs if you prefer.
And that leads us right into the next thing. So when people gather all that stuff from their house and their sheds and their backyards, they shouldn't be putting it in their truck and dumping it at their neighbors.
No.
All right. So what should they do with it if they don't want to do bulky waste? What should they?
Well, if they don't want to do bulky waste, they can put it in the truck and take it to one of the trash and recycling centers. We have 13 TRCs, we call them for short, and they're located pretty much all over our service area, which is mostly unincorporated data, some of the smaller municipalities.
And what's the website where people can find out more information?
Miami-Dade.gov/solid waste.
Okay. And maybe Zoni could find their web address and put it up. So let's talk about illegal dumping. First, I want to thank our local commissioner in Horse Country who cleaned up 118th Avenue. Not only did we put no parking and no dumping, but he grassed a lot of the area right there. It is like beautiful. So don't dump your stuff. Go to Frank's neighborhood if you want to dump stuff, but don't dump it out there in Horse Country. But people frequently will think that it's just easier just to open up their trunk or slide out the back of the truck. But it's really just, morally, it's just terrible to do that. But let's talk about from a legal point. When people get caught for dumping stuff, not flicking stuff out the window, but dumping stuff, tell us what could happen.
Well, it's a crime. It's not just something you do and, it's a crime. You can get a fine to start with. You can have your vehicle confiscated. You can even get cuffed.
We knew a couple guys
go to jail.
We knew a couple guys that happened to.
We know quite a few actually that's happened to. But yeah. And
as we said before, what are you in here for? I dumped an old couch on the side of the road.
Yeah, imagine that.
What an embarrassing crime. So how do you guys want to investigate illegal dumping, and how do you catch people on immediately?
There are several techniques that we use. We go through our enforcement officers go through the piles, and they'll look for clues, and they'll often find stuff with addresses, phone numbers, people's names, locations, stuff like that. They also use hidden cameras in various locations, and they do have cameras that they move, so they're not always in the same place, and they have a few that are stationary. As a matter of fact, what you said about catching somebody on, like right now, potentially. Hopefully there's nobody at the moment as I'm speaking here that's out there actually illegally dumping. But we do have several cameras that live stream to an enforcement officer who sits and monitors these cameras. And if they see something going down, they can call police, they can dispatch police right away. They can dispatch our enforcement officer for that area right away. And we've had people caught like that.
So let's go up again. The investigators could go through the trash that's out there and they might find a receipt. You remember the story about the
Yes.
the guys with the tile, I think, and the investigator went through it. Tell us about what they found and how they caught the guys.
Well, there was a story of they found a receipt to a restaurant, a fast food restaurant. They found a date and time stamp on it. They went back to the restaurant, asked for the video at the restaurant. They pulled it and they found the guys
It
on
was
it.
matching the receipt.
That matched
So they
the
said, that's
time.
the guy right there. Here's
And they found him and they caught him.
what a terrible way to get caught. Clever.
Yeah.
So, folks, if they think they're going to get away with it, any sort of ID is going to follow them. And then, of course, with the cameras, a lot of those are camouflage cameras. They're never going to see it. They're never going to know they're there. But you got to know wherever you are, there's somebody with a camera filming you.
That's that's the other side of the coin. Basically, it's we have our own cameras, but you never know if somebody out there is seeing you, watching you illegally dump and filming it, and then sending it over to us.
Maybe they wind up on Instagram or TikTok.
Oh
Somebody's
yeah, and
hiding
become a social media star, but not for a good reason.
Years ago, somebody had dumped a dead horse in horse country. We saw how they were able
Wow.
to pull it off. So people in horse country are all upset. I go, it's one of our neighbors that did that. Nobody came
Most
from
likely.
Pinecrest from over, did that. And I said, so at some point you may know who it is, or maybe not. But just know that what we have to do to keep the streets clean. And I can tell you that horse country, due to the efforts of Public Works and the local government, has really cleaned it up a lot. So my hat's off to Anthony Rodriguez for doing a good job there. So let's talk about it. If somebody gets convicted of illegal dumping, what's the range of fines?
The fines start at $250, and the fines are a civil penalty, so you'll get that off the bat. If it's considered commercial, the fines start at about $1,000, or I don't know the exact amount, roughly more than $1,000. And I know that the fines can go up to about $2,500.
And they could, if they could, take your vehicle.
And they could take your vehicle. And if you get convicted, it's misdemeanor. Now I can't remember. It's been a while since I looked it up. If it was a misdemeanor or a lower class of felony. But if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, you're looking at possibly potentially 5 years.
So if somebody's in a truck and they're dumping the stuff, and the cops catch them, they could tow that car, and it's going to sit wherever it is, and that's going to cost a couple $100 minimum right off the bat.
At least.
And they could hold the truck just to punish you for doing that stuff. In my truck, we don't put anything in the back. When I turn it back, there's not going to be a scratch. Famous last words.
Yeah. Hey, can you help me move?
Okay. So how does somebody know that the county is really serious about this illegal dumping? Is there a PR campaign saying don't dump, or tell us about that?
Yes, we have our campaign, Dirty Crimes Carry Fines. We have, mostly outdoor advertising. We have, you look out of a billboard or transit ads. We have done some newspaper ads before with the campaign. And that, we of course, we are on social media, online as well. We've done a number of things with the campaign, putting it out there. We've also put out news releases when we've had prominent cases that where we've caught people in the act.
So just for people, for clarity, the Public Works is in the unincorporated part of Dade County. That's where you provide the service, except or if the city hire you to pick up their garbage. Do I have that right?
Well, Public Works, we actually were merged with Public Works at one point, but Public Works split off. They're part of the Department of Transportation right now. So it's the Department of Transportation and Public Works. So we're solid waste. We're on our own. But yeah, we provide service, basically single-family homes throughout unincorporated Miami-Dade and 10 municipalities, not the larger ones like Miami Beach. We provide recycling there, but we don't provide their garbage. Miami, Hialeah, Coral Gables, they do their own garbage
And
collection.
as far as bulky waste pickup, if you're in a city, you're not calling the county, you're calling the city.
You'd have to check with your city. Yeah, if you're depending on the city. Again, there's some cities that we do provide full service for, but some other cities provide their own garbage service.
Last week, Jean Marie Massey was here. What a great time. She's beautiful. She comes in with this garbage can filled with all this stuff. The whole table was filled with stuff. One of the things that we at Community Newspapers hopes for, that not in this budget cycle, but maybe the next one, the county can put aside money to make people a little bit more aware about recycling and about not littering, because that stuff sort of blends in together. But let's talk about what's involved when we litter. We throw an empty bottle out a window. Explain to me what's involved in the streets and that you have people out there cleaning it up, and what do they do, how many men does that sort of take, and where do they take all that garbage?
Well, I don't know exactly how many people we have. We do have people that do pick up, as if it was bulky waste, that pick up illegal dumping. But that's after it's been investigated by our enforcement officers. So they don't just go and there's a pile there, somebody just randomly dumped, go pick it up. Our enforcement officer is going to investigate first and try to find if somebody was responsible or who was responsible for it, and if they can, then they're going to find themselves either with potentially be fined, potentially go to jail, and then after that, after the investigation is complete, then they'll go and pick it up.
It sounds like a lot of the time when people dump stuff on the side of the road, it's more on public property than rather on private property. But if somebody wakes up in the morning and somebody dumped a truckload of stuff, I'm going to say on their property, part on the swale, but part on, besides they're going to call you, who's going to take care of it?
In the case of it falling on a private property, I'm not 100% sure. It would not be us. It may be RER. Can't say with 100% certainty.
Who?
The RER, the Department of Regulatory and Economic Resources, because they manage like more code enforcement, more like within private property. I don't know for sure, but that would be a good question for 311. 311 would be able to direct your call to the right place.
So we know down in unincorporated homesteads out in South Dade, there's very few houses, a lot of property. Some have fences around it, excluding the swale. And a lot of these folks have now put up cameras in their property because people would like stop their cars. You can count out there's cameras there now because of the grief that it's caused these people. I understand in some cases it's a truckload of money, all right, that it takes to clean those up. So, and we know in horse country, we see the cameras, all right? So, and it says, your camera, don't stuff, don't dump stuff here. So let's go back to the hurricanes. We're probably going to have a couple of hurricanes that are going to get to us. There's some point where the tree limbs are going to break. I don't know what speed that is, but for sure, whatever speed it is. But if we get hit with the 100-mile-an-hour, which the totality stuff, it sounds really scary, but that's going to break a lot of stuff. Trees are going to come tumbling over. And so there's some stuff that people can do to try to prevent that. They got to call their landscape guys, hey, what can we do to try to save this tree should something happen? And so let's talk about the bulky waste pickup, when they need a call and where they should put it.
Now, it used to be where you would just call and you can set the stuff out the same day that you called, and but it might be out there for a while. We changed it now to an appointment-based system, and based on whenever the appointment is, you can set it out 3 days before. You can call, you can go online if you prefer. If you go online, you're going to see basically a pull-down menu. It's going to show you the dates, or I off the top of my head, I don't know how many appointments they do a day, but they about 40 roughly in that neighborhood that they can do per day. And basically, if there's anything available on the day that you want, you can take it, and you're allowed to set out the stuff 3 days before.
Now that you mention it, that's one of the reasons the horse country is cleaner. Because I don't see
you don't have the piles out there for a long time. That's one of the reasons we moved to this system, is to just reduce the amount of, and also reduces temptation, because sometimes people see these bulky waste piles out there and they think, oh, I can dump that mattress on top of the pile, and it reduces that.
We know when kids or adults put up that graffiti, we know it's coming next, all right? The other guy is going to get up there. And the city, when we had some graffiti, they came over and said, listen, Michael, here's what's going to happen. If you don't first of all, you got to get it off. We're going to fine you. Second, you want it off because somebody else is going to come up there and want to do their routine. Yeah. So if people see stuff on the side of the road or out in front of their house, what should they do?
Call through. Well, if they see somebody in the course of, in the action, actually dumping, don't confront them.
Why is that, Frank?
You don't know how they're going to react, and you don't want to create a potentially dangerous situation, but you can call 911. It's a crime, and report a crime in progress. If you go after the fact, you see the stuff there, you don't see anybody around, then you can call 311 to report it.
No more hero stuff for me. It was only one time that I know of. All right, so and let's talk about home chemicals. I think I saw on social media where it showed like a cage in which these chemicals were inside the cage. Tell us about that.
That's where they store the stuff until we have contractors that come and dispose of the items properly. But in some cases, for home chemical, if you bring us materials of items that are in good condition and can be used by somebody else, we make them available to other county Miami-Dade residents.
So people can go there, they can get a half a bottle of such and such.
Yes.
And you have paint there also, from what I understand.
We typically, paint is probably one of the biggest items we get there, yeah.
And then do people actually adopt it? I mean, do people...
Oh, yeah, we get people come and they'll take paint, they'll take whatever,
and what do they do with this mixture of paint?
Well, it's the small amounts, so they're typically small jobs. Like they might want to paint the trim in a bedroom, for example, and they might find paint there in a color they like.
What color you want? Let me go see what's available for free. Okay, yeah, the pink is good. All right.
It's good. I think it's good for small jobs.
Yeah.
You could use it for arts and crafts type projects. You can do maybe even school projects that require something with paint.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about those plastic bags. So we were looking up at Publix the other day, and somebody she asked me to look at it, but it shows that Publix has these machines that chew up plastic bags, and then they
that
take
I've
that.
seen. That sounds
right?
cool.
And it's like
that.
I said, I'm going to look at it later. That was on Friday. I'm going to try to look at it because plastic bags right now under the current recycling
under our program,
under your program. That means there are other programs that have that
can take
else.
it. Yes.
But let's say it was recyclable, that you had that. Would that plastic bag be, how does it get from this bunch of recyclable stuff, how does the bag get separated?
And that's why we don't allow it in our program, because it just makes what happens is then it ends up getting tangled up in
because the type of machines that you have,
and
right?
because the plastic that it's geared for is heavier plastic bottles that have some weight to them, and the machine, the conveyor belt carries it along and separates through a series of like wheels and things and gears that'll separate it from paper, cardboard, stuff like that. Plastic bags won't do that. They'll just get wrapped up in the machinery. But what they do with the places that do accept them for recycling, they do all kinds of stuff with them. They can make filling for jackets. They can make clothing. They can make T-shirts. They can make
like 2x4s out of that stuff.
They can make 2x4s and do plastic outdoor furniture. They can do a lot of things with it.
Let's a little bit more about recycling. The basic things are any paper, cardboard, glass bottles, plastic bottles, right? Cat food can, dog food cans, soup cans, all right?
Beverage
soda cans, all right?
Beer cans.
There you go. I understand on cans sometimes it's less than 2 months. It's already back through.
Very quickly, it can be aluminum. In particular is one of the fastest
aluminum. We
and most recyclable
materials a couple
materials.
Times.
Right? A lot, actually. Probably, Lord knows,
Exactly.
I want to say it's about 6 to 8 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, that it can be recycled and potentially be back on the shelves.
What neat stuff do you have on the website so some parent or grandparent could show their kids about it?
Oh, we have videos. We have that show you all kinds of stuff that shows you the process of the recycling when it goes to the facility, our contractor's facility. We have some kids videos. We have videos that show you the different services we provide, recycling and others, the waste collection, the bulky. We have lots of not just videos. We just have information you can read if you prefer that.
Are there any videos of those great big bulldozer type things on top of Mount Trashmore?
I wonder if we do have. Now that you ask that, that's a good question. I know we've gone out and taken video in the past at the landfills of those big bulldozers, basically.
Well, I understand the county commission is going to try to make a decision in the next couple of weeks as far as the waste energy plant. God willing, we'll be around to see it get fired up in whatever number of years it is. But folks, sorry, it's going to be
The estimate is about, yeah.
6 to 10 years.
Yeah,
Right.
about.
That's just the way that it is. All right. And in the meanwhile, we take stuff down south to Mount Trashmore, and then up in the middle of the state where the city has vendor who buys that, and then we pay them to be able to bury that stuff. One of the things that it continues to come up is that because we are a tourist trap, tourist haven,
Tourist location, yeah.
tourist location, and we get a lot more stuff here than most other cities and counties. But we recognize a lot of the landscaping and food product gets dumped into these big dumps, and then eventually I think that sort of gets absorbed. But in the meanwhile, if people want to do something really neat, go get a composter, whether it's the outside one or the inside. As I said before, we have one for inside. It's Frank,
It's amazing.
It is amazing. Put it in there, all right? Just everything but meat bones, and in 24 hours it looks like it's turned into dirt. And each piece is maybe this long. And then it goes on in the middle of the night. You can't even hear it. It's quieter than an air conditioner. Way quieter. Way, way, way quieter. And then I have to look over. What is that little tiny noise? Little lights on. And then when it gets about 10 pounds, it sends you a note. It emails you. All right?
Wow.
You need to empty us. And we take it and we put it in the bushes. All right? Then it works. There's no question that the bushes feel a little happier. The ones next to it are not happy. And they all come in different sizes, and you could do one outside if you wanted. So, and I hope that the kiddies next year, whether it's this year or next year, that somebody from recycling can go out and show them, how to, how that gets done. If there was a school that wanted somebody from the county to come out and talk to them, whether it's in a position like yours or for recycling, who would they call?
We do have on our website information, contacts, my contact. I think Jean Marie's is on there as well. But we have a person in the office that basically kind of like manages our appearances and that sort of thing. So our website, miamidade.gov/solid waste.
And let's talk about those big garbage trucks. I know we know you have one. It's all electric. Put aside the budget crunch that's going on right now. Looking down the road, does the department think you're going to get more like that?
Well, it's possible. I haven't asked about how things are going with the electric truck. So I need to find out how things are going with the truck that we do have that we're testing out. But that's a possibility for the future. What would at one point the vision when we still had the facility, the waste energy facility, was that the trucks would be recharged from the electricity produced there, and it would basically they would be fueling themselves.
But now there's no.
But now, yeah, until we get the new facility built, yeah.
So that's might be on hold for a little while. But I saw the truck, and there were a whole bunch of the drivers. I said, "Who's the driver?" I get to drive it. It is quiet, sort of hard to hear, except for when it backs up. We know that noise, which is there's some big truck.
Beep, beep.
Yes, and you turn around and go. I know it's an interesting process how we learn that. All the other functions on there are very similar to the gas powered ones.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it doesn't make noise, but yeah. And the other thing too is that it, I believe it's called regenerative braking. When they hit the brakes, it actually helps charge the batteries up a little bit.
And in those big trucks that are used every day, how many garbage cans can you get worth of stuff?
I want to say approximately on our regular trucks, approximately 1,100, 1,200, because that's about how many homes they do.
1,200 cans.
That assumes one per home. Well,
You said
let me backtrack because they usually stop about halfway through dump and then go back out. So let's say about half of that, so about 500 to 600.
That's
Fills the truck. Of course, it gets compacted, but that's about how much it takes to fill a truck.
That's amazing. You could just keep putting that stuff in there. Squish, 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 and then they empty it out on the floor, or
they empty it out on a tipping floor at one of the transfer stations, or in some cases, if they're close enough, if their route is close enough, at one of the landfills, and then they'll go back out. Usually, about halfway through their shift, they'll go back out and complete their route, and pick up another 500-600 more.
We know that sometimes each of the departments is looking for some new staffers. And where can they go to find out if there's any openings?
Miami-Dade.gov/jobs, JOBS.
And for the trash cup drivers, men and women, all right, they have to have at least a commercial driver's license.
Yes.
You get trained in driving those big trucks.
Yes, they do. They do typically ask for a year or two of experience in just driving trucks in general. But as far as like the garbage truck and learning how to pick up, they'll teach the specifics of it.
And they should have, if they don't have experience operating a joystick, is that what they call that thing?
I believe so. Yeah.
And they can operate that big claw that goes out there, grabs that can, and bashes.
They'll teach them. They'll teach them that part of it. Yeah.
Okay. And again, in case people don't remember, the handles have to be towards the house. Right?
Yes, the handles and the wheels are both on the same side.
So what is it about us as human beings? We want to jam as much possible stuff in there as we possibly can, and then leave the top open, or try to hide stuff in there. Tell us the problem when you leave the top open.
Well, when the top is open, there's a better chance that when they're lifting it up, something's going to fall out.
Yeah, and then if it gets too tight in there, they're going to bang it a couple times,
and it may still be stuck. Yeah.
I see that a lot with the recycling, where people are trying to jam in their cardboard boxes, right?
Yep.
I just want to know, are there men out there that save their cardboard boxes because they're beautiful, all right? Because I'm one of those guys. It's like, look at all these different boxes. It's pretty amazing, actually.
I understand cat owners will save the boxes because the cats love them.
Maybe that's what we should do. So, and the recycling loves cardboard boxes. Make sure they're dry if you want to make any difference, all right?
Dry and clean.
All right. And most of the small boxes you can fold up, stamp on it, whatever it is. You want to cut them, put them in there, and to be able to do that. Frank, we got 2 minutes left. So we got Christmas is around the corner. Hate to say it, but it is, all right? We have Labor Day coming up in a week and a half. And then before we know, it's going to be Halloween.
And then Thanksgiving, and then Christmas.
It's like this huge rush. And part of it is we have these holidays already set up.
Yeah.
So there's 1 day a year you don't operate, or 2 days?
3 days.
3 days.
Martin Luther King Day, 4th of July, both of which have already passed. Although Martin Luther King is in January, so that could potentially, we're looking at that coming back again.
Yep.
And Christmas Day.
Right. Otherwise, you operate the same 2 days a week for the green things, every other week for the blue ones.
Yes, and I should add, since we spoke about the holidays and I mentioned Thanksgiving, we do pick up garbage on Thanksgiving Day and the day after, Black Friday.
Yep.
So yes, we get that. We get that quite a bit. We get people asking us about it.
And
Thanksgiving
don't put your old turkeys in that aluminum thing into the blue can.
No, that goes in the garbage.
That goes in the garbage.
Yes.
Right. So, Frank Calderon from Miami-Dade Solid Waste, thank you so much for being here. And
thank you for having me.
And how many years with solid waste?
Darn it. You're asking me to do math off the top of my head. I about 16, I think. I started in 2009. Well, yeah. When I started shortly after my son was born.
There you go.
And he's 16, so there you go.
That's how you're going to remember that.
That's right.
Son, you know how you remember your birthday? Or the other way around. Again, folks, thanks for joining us. And remember, give somebody today a big hug and a kiss. Thanks, and have a good day. Bye now.